There's something about this GIF that I can watch it for hours. In fact, I've been watching it for hours. Fuck my life. Anyway, okay, this is my index match tutorial, and this is the redone version of my index match tutorial. My last one was an absolute dog's breakfast. I tried to cram tables and data validation and index match, which is hidden in there somewhere, all over the shop. I think I even tried to throw in a couple of crazy, like, something, where is it? There it is, arrays and things like that into it, which is just silly. Too much. It ended up being like 24 minutes of me rambling like a dickhead. So this is the new one. I'm just going to concentrate on index match because, in all honesty, index match needs its own video. So also now I have a real world example that I can use. This was a package that I put together for Reese of Cloud Visions, this guy. If you're a vapor and you live in Perth, actually if you live anywhere in Australia, give this guy a look at cloudovisions.com.au. It is amazing. He actually gave me a litre of my favourite e-juice, which is the Danish oven, for putting this together for him, and which I was pretty thankful for. That's $200 and something worth of e-liquid, so that should keep me going at least until next Tuesday. It's not quite halfway through. I got it on Tuesday, which is really bad. It's also the reason that I don't have my usual background screen, because this is like the 5th or 6th time that I've had to redo this video. The first time I got halfway through and realized that my background screen looked like that, and you guys probably don't want to see it, but that's the litre of Danish oven and the box mod that he gave me for doing another project for him. So this is also an example of, if people are willing to, I'm more than happy to take donations. It doesn't have to be money when I create a solution for you, but if you can throw something my way, I always appreciate it. Thank you very much, Reese. You're an absolute legend. I take back all those other things that I said about you on your webpage. Now, what he wanted was to be able to enter in a flavour. Needless to say, these are not actual, like, the actual concentrates. That's a closely guarded secret. I had to create this with dummy data, essentially, to pass on to him. But he would track the amount of concentrates that he had on hand as he was doing his daily production. He wanted to enter in the number of litres because he makes his stuff by the litre, which just blows my mind. And, well, he'd select a flavour, how many litres, and that, once he reconciled it, it would reflect in his on hand. So, that's not good. He's negative 1500 in concentrate too. Oh crap, and I lost that. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, we'll make a new one in that case. So this is a perfect example of index match. Now I'll have to unhide these to show you exactly what's going on here. Today's date is the 18th of the 3rd. Come on, there's a lot going on here. Let's select flavor 3, and he made 5 litres of it. So there we go. There's your index match. So it's a little bit different to the one next to it, simply because that is one that I could fill across. One thing with tables, as I'll go through in the table video, is you can't use absolutes because it references cells differently to other items, to standard data range. it sees that as I7, but it sees this technically as, where's table? Table, there you are. TBL production, concentrate 2, row 1, sorry. And no, it is row 2, because headers are classified as row 1. And so it makes life a little bit interesting when you're wanting to fill things across. So I'll go through indirect in another video, probably the one, yeah, I'll do that in the tables one, because that's quite an important one. So it's pretty simple. What he wanted was the quantity in liters multiplied by the corresponding concentrate, my god, I forgot the word, where it corresponds to flavor 3. Simple? Yeah, I didn't think so either. So that's why this is this craziness going across. If anyone else has an idea of how to do it easier without using code, I already have a fair amount of code in this solution. I didn't want to barrage the poor guy with too much VBA. Come on, over we go. Why did I do that? Fuck my life. Anyway, so let's break this down. So you've got the index. Index wants 3 things. One is the array, the row number, the number of rows down, and the number of columns across. So this one's another one, and that one does my head in, so let's not even look at that one. Doesn't exist. Don't look at it. Stop looking at it! So, and to that we add, so we give the array, which is TBL entry, which is over here. Now this needs a little bit of background as well. These are the flavors, and this is the amount of each concentrate that goes into 1 litre, that goes into the PGVG mix to make 1 litre of his flavour. Before you get your hopes up, these are randomly generated numbers. I don't actually know how much of a concentrate goes into that. So, so what this does is it indexes table entry all, which is literally everything, the whole table entry. Now it's made up of 2 matches. So we want to match the flavor and we want to match the concentrate. So for each concentrate, so we're going to match flavor, which is U, match flavor, and table entry all flavor. So it's looking for that flavor down that column, and when it finds it, it returns the row number. And the second match is the same thing, but it looks for SWF strawberry, whatever that is, along the headings. And it goes across production flavor 3, so it goes down to flavor 3, goes across to SWF strawberry, then it multiplies it by 5, giving you 1200. So I'm just going to fix this up so I can fill that across. Now I've added the if error, indirect, yada yada yada, simply because if I didn't have that, then I'd get NAs in here for my if any of those were blank. So I did create another macro that allows you to add 0 values in there. That's just how simple it is to work with tables. But I'll go into that next time. Stop it. Bad, Grayson. You're getting caught up. But as I said, I'm going to plug this guy because he's been an awesome help for me. If you live in Perth, definitely give this guy a look at, and obviously if you vape, don't just, well, you can if you want, but if you live in Perth, look this guy up. Look this guy up. Also, if you live in Perth, then what will happen is you'll do your nice little order and you pay for the order online, and then generally the next business day you'll get a knock at the door from the awesome vape girl, and she will literally put your delivery in your hand. So it's not delivered by Australia Post. If you're in Perth, it is delivered by Vape Girl, and Vape Girl rocks. Tina, you're the best. So now I'm just going to, this is completely off, nothing to do with Cloud Visions or his thing, his solution. What this is, it's easiest to show you index match the way that I was shown. It's extremely confusing, and like it literally took me months to figure it out until someone sat me down and went through it the way that I'm about to go through it with you. And when he did that, it just clicked in my head, and now I can do it with my eyes closed and one arm tied behind my back. So, all right, that's a lie. Sometimes I do still have to break it down like I am like this. So what we're literally going to do is break it down. So I've created 2 data validation. Now, I'll clear the data validation. Hopefully that poo. So when creating reports for people, if you've ever done a reporting, if you've ever been in a reporting position, you'll probably know that putting any report into the hands of a human is like putting a gun into the hands of a 5-year-old child. And it's going to get ugly, it's going to get bloody, and you're probably going to wind up hurt. People will do amazing things to your data, well, to the report, and then they'll come screaming back to you saying that what you've given them is broken. Generally because what they've done is spelled something incorrectly, or they've deleted something that they shouldn't have, and it's, yeah, it hurts your brain. But things like data validation allow you to at least mitigate some of the carnage that could happen. So let's create, I've already created this, but creating, first one will be a list of categories. So, and this one is a list of months. So January, February, March. And we're going to create a match from these. So because the index match wants 2 things, three things really. It wants the array, which in this case, that's the array, it's your data set. It wants how many rows down, and wants how many columns across. So we're going to feed it that information. So let's have a look at car payment for February. So it's going to look down to car payment, return that row number, and it's going to look across to February and return that column number. So we'll create our 2 matches. So lookup value is car payment. Lookup array is that. Now you'll notice that I also included that. It's a good practice simply because if you started there, then it would mess up your numbers. I'll explain a little bit better in a second. Match type, we want exact match. Yeah, shush, I'm pedantic. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, because our array is this, you want to start your rows and your columns from a common point. The reason being is if we started there and went down, then that would return 3. I'll show you. Instead of 4. That's very musical. Now we want to create another one to give us the column. Look at value is that. The array again, but this time we're going across. And it's an exact match. 1, 2, 3. So there's our rows, there's our columns. So what we can do now is index. Now remember, that's our array. Our row number is that, and our column number is that. Done. Negative 220. Just to show that's the right one. February, January, March. And there's the rows and columns changing. So putting that together, we would create the index. Again, there's your array. Let's make that absolute. Just let's throw a match in. Look up value is that. Look up array is that, and it's an exact match. So there's your rows down and your columns across. Lookup value is that. The lookup array, again, that, and it's an exact match. Close both brackets. Boom, done. Same thing. Now, I do find myself occasionally, I'll be honest, I do find myself occasionally going back and breaking it down like I did then, just to be absolutely sure, because it really is easy to get an index match wrong. And if you're dealing with, like, when you're dealing with this small amount of data, then, you know, that's one thing. But if you're dealing with, you know, 300,000 lines of data, rows of data, you know, spanning like 30 columns, then it's easy to cock it up, and it's going to, it's probably not going to come out until 2 months later when someone's job is on the line because you messed up a little tiny bit. Okay, now we can also use VLOOKUP. We can use a match in VLOOKUP because it makes it easier and it allows you to change the column number. So let's go into this. So what we've got your standard VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is looking for N2, which is that. The table array is that. Our match instead of a row number, an arbitrary number for, not row number, column number, we create a match for it. So the match in this case is the lookup value, which is that, the lookup array, which is that, and the match type, which is an exact match, which gives us 4, because we're looking at March. As a result, so that is what we'll get. So 3 gives you February, 1, 2, 3. 2 gives you January. It just makes life easier. I prefer to use a match with a VLOOKUP whenever I can, simply because it's easier, especially when filling across. But it's up to you how you do it. With larger, if you're running a fairly not so powerful machine, it can actually, slow things down because there's that extra processing. So now this was a graph that I made. Here's one I prepared earlier. What this allows you to do, let's just move this. There's your expenses. This was just literally thrown together, and we change it by month. So it doesn't really change much, because let's change there we go. That'll look it's a bit easier to work with. Oh, you're in. That looks more like my budget. But there we go. So that allows you can create custom graphs using that, and allow the user to select different areas. You could switch this around and have this coincide with, like, they can select housing, for example, and how it changes month by month. Probably not a good example, because in this case it doesn't. 1700. Yeah, that's about right. And yeah, simple as that. It really is simple. Now, please remember, guys, if you have any questions, get in touch with me. Find me off a message on my webpage or on my Facebook. You can now, I've actually just added a booking system. So if you need some one-on-one time via Skype, Facebook, or phone, then you can actually book it. And if you Facebook Messenger, sorry, and I don't charge. So including for solutions, I do not charge for any of that. I'm going to be honest and say that may change down the track at some point, but I very much doubt it. What I do like is donations. If I help you out and if it works well for you, then throw some money into my PayPal or become a patron. That goes directly into keeping my stuff up and running. It keeps my my website on its own domain. It keeps my version of Office current, and stops it from expiring. So this is not money that I use willy-nilly, and that's why my Patreon is only $1 a month. The upkeep for my website is about $20 a month, and the upkeep for my Microsoft 365 is, I think it's like $15 a month, something like that. I can't remember exactly how much, so I don't need much. that ensures that I can keep doing this for free and keep doing this without having to worry about other things. So, you know, if you feel so inclined, I very much appreciate it. So, well, thank you very much, guys. Take care of yourselves. And as I said, any questions, throw me a line. I'm more than happy to help. Okay, bye-bye.